Hey, YouTube, what is up? I found something very interesting to talk about today, and that is the price trend of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring now that it has been reprinted. The card originally was around 78 bucks before the reprint, and I know this because I knew about the reprint early. I had a hunch on it, and I did sell my Ashes literally. I think the 18th of February, right after a certain article I'm going to show you in a second was released, and I sold mine for $210 for a full playset. I sold them at $70 each because the card was at that time going for about $75. Now, I thought I could be smart, make an educated guess, assume the card is going to be reprinted before Nats, and it was, and then I would buy it back on the dip or buy the reprinted ones, which I assumed would have been around $30. Now, the problem with it is the price, if I pull it up right here for the Maximum Crisis version of the card, actually went up higher. The card is now worth more than when before we knew it was reprinted, which is insane. You can see right here, the average was around $82. This is the day that people found out that the reprint was happening. A lot of people were leaking it and stuff like that. You could see the price dropped by a good $10. I found people selling them for like 50 bucks each, stuff like that. But even that seemed a little too high for me for a card that was going to be imminently reprinted in a set that I thought would have had a higher print run of the new Ash Blossom, but I was wrong. You could actually see right here is when the reprint was slightly announced on the 17th, and it's weird because that's actually the highest sold price day. I think that's people that read the same article that I did, saw this and decided to, cash out as soon as they could. The article I'm talking about specifically is this one. No one saw this besides probably me and like 3 of my friends. I did not want to mention that the card was going to be reprinted. A couple of the friends that I talked about this with were vendors. I didn't want to blow their spot. People have to make their money. And to be honest, I was a bit of an asshole and decided to cash in on it myself. Now, this doesn't confirm that Ash Blossom was going to be reprinted, but if you look, it was released on February 17th. It is mentioning the legendary Kaiba collection, talking about this new hand trap, which actually sucks ass. But the thing is, they mention Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, as well as Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now, we knew Ghost Ogre was reprinted at this point, and we knew we were getting Drolomok, so it seemed to me that it was kind of weird that they put Ash Blossom in this article, but not Drolomok, which to me seemed to confirm that this card was also going to be reprinted. Why mention Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in this article, mentioning the legendary Kaiba collection and the cards you can get in it, and also the card right before it is Ghost Ogre? It just seemed like too many similarities to me. I assumed the card was going to be reprinted before Nats because it was Maximum Crisis, which was the set that is guaranteed not to be in the Megatin from the previous year. So we knew it wasn't being reprinted in the Megatin that we got, the last one. So we knew it had to be reprinted before Nats. That's usually my assumption with these high money cards. Konami wants to make money, and they know people will buy sets in order to get cards for the national season. And I was just, these just seemed like too many things lined up, the stars lined up in the right way, and I assumed the card was going to be reprinted, and it was. Now, I actually lost money on this transaction because I sold mine for 75 bucks. Well, actually, I sold them 3 for 70, so it was 210. The card is now worth more than that. If I pull up right here, we can see that right now, if I wanted a first edition one, I'd be spending about the money that I put into it. It's really interesting though, because I don't see many actually moving. If we go into TCG Player, it shows only 4 purchased in the last 30 days, which seems weird. eBay has had a lot more sales than that. This doesn't track that accurately, but through the click-through links from Yu-Gi-Oh prices, we could see that only 4 have been sold for a total of 210, which means they're averaging around 50 bucks, which makes me think it's the reprints. Now, the reprint is $50, and I think the reason that the card actually increased in value after its reprint was because of how low the fucking pull rates on this card are. Like I mentioned, I have a friend that's a vendor. He does a lot of large-scale purchases for this kind of thing, and he allows me to kind of peek into his, realm, and I could see the pull rates from this. He was opening boxes. He's gotten boxes that had 4 Ash. He's gotten boxes that have had literally 0. I mean, not boxes, cases. He's had cases that have had 0 Ash. On average, it's like 1 to 2. That's the best average I can give you, but it seems to be lower than 2 and between 1. So I'd say maybe 1.5 per case, which really, really sucks. The one that had 4 just seemed to be some kind of factory anomaly. But the fact that this card is so short printed, I think increased the value of the original version to a weird, proportionately high, level. The thing that I think is happening, especially with the secret rare version, not so much this one, people can kind of fluctuate the price of this a little easier. What I think happened here is that after the initial fear of the price of Ash dropping to a stupid low number, vendors decided to hold a line once it jumped back up to 70. Now, usually when people decide to hold a line, it's usually after a buyout and they decide to inflate a card price. Let's say a buyout happens, a card's $1 and they buy it out, making it like an $8 super rare, which happens in the past. So if something's meta relevant, people kind of do buyouts, and then the card doesn't ever go back to $1, but it might go back down to $4. It might go down 50% from the buyout price, and then people just kind of hold that line. That's kind of what I think is happening here, except there was no buyout, but rather a mass selling, and then the smarter vendors actually picked up those cards, picked up the Ash Blossoms for maybe 45 to 50 from eBay, from, you know, just trades in person and stuff like that, and decided to hold the line at 70. If you control enough Ash Blossoms, you can control the price past a certain point, and I think it's just a bunch of vendors don't feel comfortable selling this card below 70, and they're just not going to. We can see that not a lot are selling, and we can see that not a lot of the originals are selling if we just do some basic math on this right here. I'm actually going to open up the where is it? I'm going to try to open up the percentage thing. I'm not going to be able to find it right now as I'm recording this video, but basically the fact that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is so short printed in the Kaiba collection guaranteed that the original card was going to go up in value. This is a really rare occurrence. This really does never happen. I want to know your opinion on this though. I don't like to make too many videos, and I feel like this one's gone on long enough, so let me know in the comments down below what your opinion on this is. My theory is that the card is actually going to stay around 40 for the reprint. I think the original is going to go for maybe 50 to 60, depending if it's first or non-first. And another thing that I just wanted to point out that I found really interesting though is that the Facebook groups, which I am a part of, and you know, Yu-Gi-Oh buying and selling and that kind of thing in Zodiac, I see the card not going for anywhere near this price. I've seen people post 3 secret rare Ash Blossoms first edition from Maximum Crisis for 135 and have them move like this. Pow, and gone. I know, because I've tried to buy them. I tried to maximize my profit by selling this Ash to buy it cheaper in the same rarity. I'm kind of a rarity whore, so I do like to have the original print of a card if I can get it, or an OTS pack version of it like Cosmic Cyclone. I have the secrets, but you know, as soon as that Ultimate Rare comes out, I'm going to hop on that. So I really think that's what's happening with this. There's just vendors holding a line online, but in person, I do think you're going to be able to get this card cheaper. I'm going to see, obviously, if I could pick one up and go slightly plus. After eBay fees, I probably made like 195 because eBay takes a certain percentage, maybe 190. I'm really interested to see where this price goes. My bet is this is gonna drop by maybe $10, and this one's going to drop by maybe 20. I don't see it holding this line, even though it is super short printed, because just the farther we go, the more vendors are going to be opening these cases to get this card. But once everybody has a playset, you're gonna have to reach a lower price to kind of, you know, grab those less competitive players that still know what Ash is, but still feel like $48 is too high of a price. Something I did notice is that a lot of not competitive players are opening this legendary Kaiba collection to get the Ash Blossom because they know it's in there, and they'll buy multiple boxes. It's kind of like the higher level player versus the less competitive player mentality, where most high level players don't open boxes. They don't really try and pull their card. I mean, maybe a sneak peek, you'll try and get some plus trades, but the non-competitive players just don't care. They'll spend $90 to try and pull one Ash and just be happy that they got other Blue Eyes cards with it. And that's really where I think is the tipping point's going to be. Once enough non-competitive players get Ash Blossoms that they don't need from continually buying this set, I think the price is going to drop to around $30. But like I said before, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this. I just found it really interesting that the card's worth more after a reprint. That's really, really rare. Obviously, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring's a broken card, and it really does deserve this high price. I sold mine originally when they were $40 and I regretted it, but then I bought it and sold it all the way back up to $210. So it's just such an interesting thing to happen that I felt like I should mention it, you know, and ask your opinion, because, you know, I've been mulling it over in my mind as I've been going through this last week and watching the price just actually increase, which seems so fucking backwards to me. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe, because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.